Okay then, Helldivers, we are back and we have got loads to go over today, as it seems that an Arrowhead developer hit the Discord and became extremely active late last night, giving over some information with regards to what they've got happening inside of the game right now, some changes that they want to make, and the processes that they're currently following inside of making new quote-unquote content for the game. We've got a lot to take a look at, and we're going to give you guys all the information you guys need today. If you haven't already, smash the beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. And make sure you check out our sponsor, Instant Gaming, platform where you can buy games dirt cheap. And right now, Path of Exile 2 is on the freaking horizon. This thing is blowing the hell up and it's dirt cheap over there. It's a no-brainer. Nonetheless, let's see what's happening inside of the game right now. Now, a bit of confusion did strike as we were talking about what content types were actually hitting the game and when a large piece of content was coming, or if we were just going to get multiple small ones. Now, the bit that's really weird is Cephas, also known as the Arrowhead developer, turned around and stated that we tried to do a combination of both, a large content drop followed by smaller releases throughout, leading up to another big content drop. My only concern here is the biggest content drop that we really had was the escalation of freedom, and even then, the classification of what content actually is a little bit damaging and a bit worrying when it comes to Helldivers as a game itself. Mainly because as content, you expect new things to come. Unfortunately, what we're experiencing right now is a lot of balance patches, a lot of changes to current weapons and current cycles, and it seems like they're actually calling this large content. That's probably my biggest concern right here, because for me that's not content whatsoever. Obviously the DSS was more filler content in my personal opinion, as there was no sort of like new actions to really take on it. A lot of people do specify it as a content drop, and that's absolutely fine, I understand it, but they are looking at new features to ways to make new content. It states right here, the more we learn about our community preferences and what they enjoy, the more we can tailor the types of content we make. It helps us weigh features that we can make against each other and allow us to prioritize what we want to focus on first. Now, this is where the confusion really sets in. It's our newest piece of quote-unquote content is the gas mines. Now, the bit that really confuses me is that statement was essentially that they understand their community, the preferences that we have, and the move for it. So our newest piece of content is gas mines. We've just had a new war bond which had a load of gas materials inside of it, of which, well, respectfully, nobody really uses anymore. There will be some of you, but for the most part, if you go into any Helldive at any point, the likelihood is you're not going to see much gas floating around from the Helldiver's perspective. On top of that, they also interpreted that with mines, of which I cannot remember the last time I saw anybody drop with any mines. So essentially, what it looked like is that they've taken the community preferences and gone completely against it to try and make you actually like those aspects. The community right now are at large not happy about the gas mines and that being the piece of content that we're receiving next up, considering how late it is along the line and how much time we have to wait between these new stratagems actually dropping. It's been weeks since we saw a new stratagem, really, and it means that we're going to be waiting until the new year for another stratagem to drop after this, which means that actually this is the content that we're looking at. So a little bit disappointing, although they are working on some other stuff, including the mechs. As he states right here, we've got something in the oven for the mechs. Nothing too crazy though, so manage your expectations. And I think at this point, a lot of Helldivers' expectations are relatively low anyway, so I don't think they really realistically need to worry too much about that one. Now, the bit that I do find interesting though is how they actually utilize the playtesting of this new quote-unquote content that they utilize inside of the game. Apparently, they do a lot of playtesting, internal and external. He actually responded right here as Cephas states, yes, we do a lot of playtesting. We have internal and external QA teams, and our teams and directors also playtest the game, and we have private betas. We're still working on improving our pipelines and encouraging people to playtest more, but we're also trying to get new content out to the community. A regular pace that we can iterate on an over time due to the nature of being a live service game. We won't always get things right, especially considering this is the first live service game we're making, but we trust in our ability to solve problems. I think having raw numbers in the patch notes might sometimes be misleading because players won't see the full system and how it works and how other systems interact with each other, so it might just make things worse, which is where obviously having the blog postings, the live streams, the video content that they are working on right now should hopefully help out quite a lot. But with regards to the actual content that they're inputting in and the playtesting that they're actively doing, it does confuse me very much that a lot of the changes that are being made are the changes that are actually being made, if they're actually playtesting this the way that they're stating that they are. Because the DSS was the last piece of content that we genuinely received, and it didn't come along too well right at the beginning, and now that we've got timers on these main pieces so that we can utilize one of 3, and then every 3 days or so everything kind of like just switches off. So people were asking if there was going to be a general passive bonus for planets that had it above, because otherwise it became sort of like a flying paperweight with nothing really to do with it. And they stated right here, yes, there's a high chance of that potentially getting in, but we're looking at a whole slew of different improvements, so it's kind of tricky. So we could end up with that. That could be the new move that they end up making with it, a general passive, although it's not something that they're working on right now by the sounds of it. As far as how they're actually going to change this moving forward will be an interesting feature, and hopefully we'll see something with regards to the DSS soon, but I'm really itching on some new content types. We need new biomes and missions. That's just the reality. And with this latest major order, it seems that a lot of people are in a current position where they find this impossible because of how little impact we seem to have on liberating planets. And with new games dropping every day and players dropping out of the woodworks every day, it seems that liberating a planet is getting harder and harder by the minute. And they asked if there was going to be a change in the way that the function works of how you liberate planets. Now, they actually responded to this in, it depends on the time frame we're talking. Right now, yes, there won't be any major changes of how things work. Who knows what will happen over time though, as we keep adding features to the Galactic War and evaluate the holistic experience as we introduce new ways for the community to interact with it. We're always looking to improve the game over time, we just need to prioritize the things we focus our efforts on. And again, this is where the issues kind of come into play, because realistically, the way that it works is they introduce something small, it doesn't work properly, or the community don't like it, then they have to focus on changing that. It doesn't really make much sense to me on how it is that they're genuinely working it. But apparently, there is no reason why we don't have new content coming out on a more regular basis. Although it is a small development team, we do have confirmation right here about how it's working. A lot of people's arguments were they were doing the 60-day update or they're fixing this so they can't make new content. Actually, it all happens simultaneously. As it states right here, we have some teams polishing content they've already released and others working on fresh and new content, which is amazing. Although, where is the fresh and new content? A lot of people have called me negative over the last few weeks, which is probably why the video that we upload have kind of depleted in viewership, and that's absolutely fine. But when it's good, I'll say it's good. When it's bad, I'll say it's bad. And realistically, right now, we are in a okay spot where it's just kind of ticking over. But the boredom that's kicking in is ridiculous. And with games like PoE 2 coming through the woodworks, is kind of going to be one of those games where you are going to struggle to stay on it for a long period of time. The amount of comments I've seen in the comment section right now saying you've put the game down altogether, or you kind of jump on once every few days and do maybe one full operation, it's ridiculous. Now, obviously, there has been a lot of changes and things, and a lot of the nerfs that have been happening and people have been speaking about have been kind of like hidden. They've never really been announced, and the most recent few patches where we've managed to find some stealth nerfs were patches where they tried to quote-unquote focus on buffs, or at least that's what they're stating it as it generally gives a bigger response to the community. But somebody asked if we can stop with the hidden stuff in the patch notes, like the stealth nerfs that you guys do, and then when you call out, just say that you kind of forgot about it. The response we got on that was actually a disappointing one for me. It states, we rely on our developers to add their player-facing patch notes anytime they push something they fixed, and sometimes people forget to include those. We have so many changes that go into a patch that it is easy to miss some of them, and add to that complexity the time turnaround for localization to all different countries we support, and any late additions making it very hard to properly amend things. We do try to be as thorough as possible though. Now, a lot of you guys may say that actually we're only human, people will make mistakes and so on and so forth, although my argument is kind of that they don't really stealth buff, and we don't actually have a miscommunication on things that they've really changed in our favor. The things that we we end up really changing and finding is that there's nerfs on the table that they just haven't really mentioned, hoping that a lot of it will slide under the carpet. So we have no idea really how much of it has been slid underneath and how much we still are yet to find. But as of right now, I do think that it's a bit of a poor excuse in my personal opinion. And moving into your top comments right here, because you guys had some stuff to say with yesterday's announcement of the mines being the weapon of choice unlockable via this major order. Somebody here states, another useless mine, yay. Now this got 35 replies to it, and a lot of people are on both sides of the fence. A lot of people are arguing for the mines, a lot of people are arguing against the mines. Me personally, I just kind of want new content. In what forms it actually comes through at this point, I don't think I mind. I just kind of want to be able to experience new ways of playing. Now, do I think that these mines are going to be very useful and going to be used in the longevity? No, I think that people are probably going to use them for maybe a couple of days and then we won't see them again. They'll get dusty on the shelf, but that's just my personal opinion. And to rectify that and to clarify everything that people are stating right now, this one here states, I heard mines and I sleep. Wake me up when Bastion is in. And I think that that pretty much says it all in one solid nutshell. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but unfortunately, that's where we're at right now with the quote-unquote content that they're dropping. And this final one right here is a interesting one, and one that some of you will be happy about. It states, Path of Exile 2 comes out today. If Arrowhead want me to keep playing HD2, they better bring something new and exciting to the table fast. Now, we are uploading PoE 2 at the same time, and we have got content coming up later today for you guys with regards to how the launch went and everything that kind of pushed out along that siding, as it's a really, really interesting one. But yeah, the game is absolutely incredible, and right now I know a lot of people have kind of moved over to there from so many different games that a lot of player bases are kind of like tanking right now with the amount of people playing Path of Exile 2, and rightly so. The game is incredible, and I was playing it until late last night. So much so, we're actually kickstarting the live streams up with whole new cameras, whole new movements and everything on the Twitch channel. Links in the description. We're kicking that back up on Monday, and we're going to be running it through to the high hills, so make sure you don't miss it. Anywho, that's unfortunately all we got time for today. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on, and let me know in the comment section exactly what you're thinking of the game right now, as I know it's a really difficult time. Thank you again for watching. Appreciate you all, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.